I know. It's only a win over the Blackhawks, but I'm going to talk today about why I think that even a win like this means something in a season like this. That's coming up on today's Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster. I'm back in my regular studio, recording at a stupid time of night and watching the Blue Jackets at a stupid time of night. So nature is healing, you know? Before we get started in anything, I want to thank everyone for making this your first listen of the day every single day. I am here, of course, to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I want to thank you for making this your first listen. They are the episodes, that is, are available on every podcasting app of choice and over on YouTube. I also want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers are going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/locked on to get started. So does a win over Chicago at this point in the season mean anything, really? All it does is push them further down towards Celebrini and bump the Blue Jackets up towards not Celebrini. But here's the thing. I don't think the Blue Jackets are going to drop to the level that the Blackhawks and the Sharks are right now. I think last I checked, I think the Sharks, who are currently in 31st place in the league, I think are 13 points behind the Blue Jackets, and partially that's because of all of the loser overtime points that the Blue Jackets have collected over the course of the season. But the Blue Jackets are on 50 points. Yeah, and then the Sharks and the Blackhawks are both on 35 points, so fully 15 points behind the Blue Jackets. The Ducks sitting on 47 points right now. They weren't gonna. I don't think the Sharks and the Blackhawks are gonna catch the Blue Jackets. So I'm fully okay with winning this game, just on a base, even if I was pro tank. I don't know. And the other thing as well is I kind of said this after the Sharks game. I said this after the Ducks game. I'm decided not to be mad about watching this team win games, especially if they're going to play well. You know, it's not like they are, effing around and somehow managing to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. They've been playing good, solid games. And they haven't always been winning them either. I thought the second game against the Rangers was very solid. I thought the first game against the Rangers was excellent. Second game, they got unlucky. I think Shesterkin decided to take it personally that I said that he probably wouldn't have won the game against the Blue Jackets had they played him on the Sunday when Jonathan Quick was in net. And then I think the Carolina game was what it was. Again, it was a 3-2 game essentially with an empty netter added, the same way that the Rangers game was actually a 2-1 game, but they had 2 empty net goals added. Same way that this was a 4-2 game tonight with an empty net goal added for Columbus. I've decided to just not count empty net goals as meaning anything. But Elvis played extremely well in both games against the Rangers and just they just ran into Shesterkin, who, again, excellent, 30 of 31 saves. Elvis, also very good. He made, I believe, I've lost the box score, I believe he made 26 of 28, so a 929 save percentage. He had a 950 in the previous game against the Rangers. Carolina Hurricanes game was what it was. I think they showed good resiliency to battle back and make that a 3-2 game. And then then Seth Jarvis scored the empty netter with 15 seconds left, which was annoying. But again, this is a team that always gives the Blue Jackets fits. I feel like more so than the Devils, more so than even the Rangers recently. I feel like the Carolina Hurricanes constantly give the Blue Jackets problems. They have won both of the games that they've played so far this season, 3-2 and then 4-2. So if the pattern continues, the Blue Jackets will be losing to the Carolina Hurricanes 5-2 on April 7th. But again, I thought I was fine with the effort for the most part. Tarasov, I thought was good. 29 saves on 32 shots. Like, it's about as good as I expected from Tarasov. And then, like, I know there was a lot of drama about benching the Russian line. Here's a potential hot take. I am okay with players being benched for mistakes. Before you all get mad and turn the episode off, I think that this should apply to every single player. I think there's a thing that happens, which is young players make mistakes and then don't get a chance to correct it. They just sit on the bench and think about what they did, and I think that doesn't help anyone. They don't get a chance to fix their mistake, but they also get to watch the veterans go out there and make mistakes time after time after time and not get benched. And the difference really is, oh well, they've been in the league longer, so they get to make mistakes. And like, I would be okay with benching players if everyone was kind of benched equally under, the mistakes that they make. I mean, by that logic, Chicago should probably have benched Seth Jones 33 seconds into that game and then not played him again. But the team, it probably would have been better for the Blackhawks if they'd done that. But I also don't know that benching them for the rest of the game is helpful, again, because all they do is they sit there and they dwell and they beat themselves up about it, and that just doesn't feel like a super effective way to teach. If, like, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the soft one here, but I feel like not letting them have a chance to fix their mistakes and, help the team win the game, and they just have to sit there and watch the team lose. That's frustrating, and I don't think that helps anyone. I don't think that helps the team. I don't think that helps the player learn. I don't think that helps the player get better. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm okay with benching players so like, okay, you screwed up here. You're gonna sit for the next 5 minutes in timeout or whatever, and then you're gonna go back up there and you're gonna score a damn goal and you're gonna fix your screw up. That's not how the NHL works, though, and that's specifically not how Pascal Vincent works, which is maybe my biggest criticism of him. But I didn't want to spend this entire segment not talking about Chicago. So, like, I'll leave that where it is. I thought the Russian line was pretty good tonight. They did not get on the board. They were the only line to not get on the board. But they did get a little bit more ice time. Marchenko got 13. Yegor Trenikov got 12.5. Vronkov, again, leading this team in rookie scoring, got 11 minutes 44. Although the ice time was weirdly even. So the Vronkov played the least at 11:44, and then it looks like Jenner played the most at 19:01. And then Roslovic at 18:22, but like everyone was within that kind of 7-minute span, which is weird, and I don't know how I feel about that. Similarly, the defense, Damon Severson actually led the way with 22:33, and then Eric Branson shockingly had the least ice time at 17:38, but again, it was kind of within that 5-minute deviation. So shockingly consistent ice time. No one got benched, which was great. And I didn't really have a problem with anyone to play in this game from the Blue Jackets perspective. I tweeted a little bit about, I think Seth Jones specifically had a very poor night. And I think that really benefited the Blue Jackets. So I'm not going to complain about that. But man, they really do just kind of have Connor Bedard and a bunch of dudes, huh? Like I feel almost bad for the kid. He was clearly furious about that empty net goal that Gaudreau scored. By the way, he slapshotted it out of the net afterwards. So but that's good. He's mad about it. I think he should be mad about losing. I think once you get okay with losing, then that's a problem. So like he's going to keep doing his thing, and hopefully he gets to play on a winning team that's not Chicago someday. No, that's my personal feelings getting involved here, but. Everyone in the Blue Jackets, I thought, had a pretty solid game. I want to take a quick break, and then we get back. What I'm going to do is pick out a couple of guys that I thought had really great games. So we're going to do that in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets. Before we do that, though, I've got to talk to you about Game Time because you shouldn't have to worry when you buy tickets to your next big event. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for sports, music, comedy, theater, everything that you need a ticket for. You can get it at Game Time. They've got last minute deals, all in prices, views from your seat, and they've got a best price guarantee, which means if you find tickets in your section and row for less somewhere else, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. They're the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. They show your total upfront, all in prices, so you're not going to get any kind of secret bonus fees that are added at the checkout, like certain ticketing services that we won't mention. You can buy tickets in seconds with just 2 taps. All you do is open the app, go to the game that you want, and then click buy tickets, and you are done. They've got deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, even an hour after it starts. It's the place to find last-minute seats. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. We're talking about the win over Chicago, which does mean things, and it means a couple of things, specifically about a couple of players that I wanted to highlight. I think Elvis was great, but I wanted to specifically talk about a couple of guys. First of all is Zach Werenski, who, how much did the team miss Zach Werenski last season? And I've kind of talked about this a little bit before, which, how much of last season was, oh, Zach Werenski wasn't here, and then obviously everyone else got bumped up a spot, and it was just kind of a nightmare. But I didn't realize how much this team had missed him until he came back, and I was like, oh, I'm just not worried about the number one defenseman anymore. And he's had some rough games this season, but I think everyone has. But he has got 34 points in 47 games for the Blue Jackets this season. He's on pace for 50 points, 6 goals, 44 assists, which would be a career high for him. And that's just, I thought he was great in this game. Again, he didn't play a ton of minutes, which I think probably bought into it. He was 20 seconds behind Severson for the team lead. So 22 minutes, but I'm fine with him playing 22 minutes, especially if he's going to be that dominant. He was on the ice for 4 of the goals that the Blue Jackets scored and had 2 assists on the night. He's still kind of looking for that 5th goal of the season, but if he's got, 30 assists on the season right now. Oh, not including tonight, actually. He's got 32 assists on the season, so 36 points. So projected for 50 or 51 points. Yeah. But I thought he's just been quietly very, very good. And I feel like he hasn't been getting enough credit from people, like me specifically, but also other people in general, as to how much he lifts this team up. Because he's been great this season. He's done a lot of heavy lifting. He's obviously missed some time with a couple of injuries, but I think he's great. I think he's had a great season. He's been the defenseman that the Blue Jackets needed when they signed him to that contract. I don't think he's quite at the 9.527 whatever level, but I don't think he'll hit that level. I think you're seeing flashes tonight and kind of recently, I think, of Zach Werenski could be a really, really good defenseman in this league. He could be a top 6 American-born defenseman in this league. And I think he's going to get serious Olympic conversation for the 2026 Olympics. I think he's, like I said, and I've said it, I'm going to say it again. He's been excellent. He was great tonight. Led the scoring from the back end. Had, I think, let me pull up the here they are. He assisted on the game-winning goal, which was Mathieu Olivier, which is very funny. And he assisted on the 2-0 goal, the Boone Jenner goal. Boone Jenner now at 19 goals on the season, 1 away from 20, which I think will give him back-to-back 20-goal seasons for the first time in his career. I might be making that up. I'm just going to check real quick. But the point of it is, Boone Jenner. Oh no, it'll be three 20-goal seasons, one after the other. He had 23 and 21-22, 26 and 22-23, and then he needs, I'm going to knock on wood, he needs 1 more goal to hit 20 goals this season. And so 3 straight 20-goal seasons for the captain, which is, again, great to see. The other guy I want to give a shout out to is a guy that has hit the net 3 games running, and that's Cole Sillinger, who has, I think, looked again, I think he's been quietly very, very good this season, and he's looked a lot more like a more refined version of what we saw in his rookie season, and I do like, the more I think about it, the more I think about how much of last season's struggles were, A, confidence-based, and then as a result of that, bouncing up and down the lineup, getting sent down, getting called up, getting healthy scratched left, right, and center, not having any real line mates for longer than 5 minutes. Because look what he's doing with consistent line mates. I think he, Texier, and Nylander were maybe the best line. I think he was the best player for either team on the ice. And I feel kind of that way about the game against Carolina. I think he was the best player on the ice for the Blue Jackets, certainly. And again, he's just, after a frustrating sophomore season, this has to feel really good for him. He's got 11 goals, 12 assists, 23 points in 54 games. So on pace for probably a little bit more than his rookie season total, but he'll have played fewer games, I believe. So I'm just gonna pull up his elite prospects. He's on pace. Oh, he's on pace for exactly 31. 31 points, 14 goals, 17 assists in 76 games, but he is on a real hot streak right now. So I would imagine that those projected totals are going to bump up if he keeps scoring, which is great news for the Blue Jackets, because I think there was a real worry that they had, done something irreparable to his development when last season he had 11 points in 64 games. And then again, they sent him down. He finished the season with the Monsters, made the Blue Jackets out of training camp this season. And again, like, he's had quiet stretches. He's still a little bit streaky, but he's also 20 years old. Turns 21 in May. So I feel fine about how Cole Sillinger's development is proceeding. I think there was, like, maybe I was being dramatic, but I do think there was a real worry that his development had kind of stuttered and stalled last season. Lots of talk about, should he have made the NHL as an 18-year-old? Maybe not. Maybe he should have gone back to the Medicine Hat Tigers and, like, torn the WHL into tiny pieces, but he didn't. And I think we're really kind of seeing what Cole Sillinger can be for this team, which is a very, very good two-way middle six center. I think he could be a good second line center or a phenomenal third line center. And that's really great. Again, the Blue Jackets have something approaching center depth. When you look at Fantilli, Sillinger, Voronkov, I don't know, is a long-term center, but if you want to keep the Russian line together, sure. But then, you think about adding, someone like a Celebrini or a Catton or a Lindstrom into the mix, and suddenly the Blue Jackets have a 1-2-3 punch of some very, very good young centers, which is really exciting. So those are the two guys that I wanted to kind of specifically not call out, because that sounds negative, but I wanted to give some flowers to those guys for just having really great games, and again, quietly really good seasons. I also want to give a shout out to Jack Roslovic, who had a 2-assist night, once on the Boudjana goal, once on the Gaudreau empty netter. Alex Nylander has 4 points in 3 games since joining the Blue Jackets. So again, I think that's credit to that Sillinger Texier line. And again, I think he played 1 game with Johnson before he got injured. So keep on keeping on, third line. The vibes are good right now. And again, like, they play Vegas on Monday, and I'm sure that'll ruin everyone's day. But right now, I'm excited. The vibes are good in Columbus right now. And again, you're looking at the future, and I think we should be excited about that. And speaking of the future, there is a brand new Blue Jacket on the block, and we're going to talk about who that is and what the Blue Jackets could see from him in just a second here on Locked on Blue Jackets. First, I'm going to tell you about FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers are going to get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. All you have to do, go to FanDuel.com and find the heaviest favorite that you can. Like, put $5 on Austin Matthews scoring a goal. I don't know. But if you win, you get $150 to spend on anything you want in FanDuel. You can bet on all your favorite NBA players. They've got quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props. They've got baseball, which is coming back soon. They've got NHL. They've got NASCAR. Like, they've got all kinds of stuff. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and also us, the Locked On Podcast Network. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jackets. We are talking about the newest Blue Jacket on the block, who celebrated his contract signing in style with a 2-goal night for the London Knights. Max McCue is a former pick of the San Jose Sharks. He was a 2021 fifth-round pick. They took him 156th overall. They had until June of last year to sign him, I believe. They didn't do that. He is a free agent, and he's coming to the Blue Jackets. I imagine he's going to be this year's Hunter McCown. So probably they will wait for the London Knights season to finish and then bring him up, and he will play maybe 4 to 8 games for the Blue Jackets. They'll see what they've got with him. Likely he goes down to Cleveland, but the Blue Jackets might have like a sneaky good pick here. In terms of, I don't think he's going to, set the league on fire or anything, but he's got 53 points in 54 games, or it'll be 55 points in 55 games now with his 2-goal night tonight. On pace for 61 points in 62 games right now. Like, he's doing some really good things. Again, he's a former 5th-round pick. I wouldn't expect, like, a million things out of him, but he is 8th on the team in scoring right now, behind, just some guys that are lighting the OHL on fire, like Easton Cohen, for example, who is, I think, has a point in 28 straight games. So he's keeping up. He's holding his own. And I think he could be a really interesting piece for the Blue Jackets to take a long look at this, like, April-ish, and for the Monsters to really enjoy next season. Like, that's my guess, is that he probably does the Hunter McCown thing of hanging out in the NHL till the end of this season and then going down to the AHL out of training camp next season. Maybe gets a couple of preseason games. I'm just going to pull up what Hunter McCown's stats are for Cleveland this season, so we can maybe get kind of an idea. Hunter McCown has 20 points in 45 games this season, which is about what I expected. I feel fine about that. If they can get that kind of production again out of a guy like Max McCue, who, again, OHL free agent, and the Sharks didn't want him, so we will take him off their hands. And that's kind of, I don't really have like an in-depth scouting on the guy. I'm interested to see what he looks like in pro hockey. Apparently he's got a little bit of a mean streak to him. He's got some size. He'll throw his weight around. He's obviously got some goal scoring, 28 goals in 50 something games this season is pretty good, especially in the OHL, where goal scoring is tough sometimes. So we'll keep an eye on him. We'll keep an eye on what's happening with the London Knights. They're probably primed to make a deep playoff push, because the Knights always are, I feel like. They're just one of those teams where I'm like, yeah, they're good now. And they will continue to be good until the heat death of the universe. Yeah, they are at the top of the Western Conference. They've got 90 of a possible 120 points. So they're doing okay. So unless something terrible happens, expect for them to have a nice long playoff push. And then McCue will come to either the Blue Jackets, or if their season is already over, he'll go down to the Monsters for their playoff push. So an intriguing player to look at, for sure. Do I think he's going to be the savior of the franchise? No. But I think he had some interesting options. Play center. The Blue Jackets could always use more centers. We'll see how it goes. I'm very intrigued by this kid. I'll have to watch a couple of London Knights games to get a real read on him. But that's kind of all I've got for today. Tomorrow, later today, actually, I've got another prospect profile for you all. I sat down with Sam McGilligan. We're going to be talking about Berkeley Canton, who Blue Jackets fans should get really, really excited about, I think. So that's coming up later today, about 5 p.m. Eastern, I think is when I am going to be scheduling it. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about the Vegas Golden Knights game that is going to be on Monday, and I'm sure that'll be just a ton of fun for everyone involved except us. But hey, thank you for listening. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day every single day. Locked on Blue Jackets is free and available on all podcast platforms, on YouTube and on SiriusXM. Thank you for listening. Thank you for continuing to listen. I've been Jay Foster. You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find the show at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have comments, questions, criticisms, you can email me at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. And until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.